Here we are, 1 year later since the release of Dead Island 2, and man, the fact that I am even saying that is a remarkable achievement for this game. It went through so many ups and downs in development that a release date was unlikely for some time, but here we are, not one, but 2 DLCs in. The game has finished all of its planned post-launch support, so did they stick the landing?
Which would you prefer?
Both is good.
I honestly don't know if I can properly recommend them. Now, before I do dive into the nitty gritty, I love Dead Island 2. The base game is an absolute blast. The gore and gameplay are exceptional, and this quality extends to the 2 DLCs. These developers, they craft unique levels solely for the purpose of providing players with a blood-soaked and gory spectacle. It's designed purely for enjoyment. House had some examples of this, but Sola really prioritizes those over-the-top violent set pieces, offering players an opportunity to indulge in chaotic gameplay experiences to really try to impress you, and it works. I think I walked away from Sola thinking it was one of the most brutal and gory experiences I've ever played in a game. It was a beautiful mess that is also so goddamn frustrating. Bro, no. No! Are you kidding? Oh my god. Don't tell me I have to do that entire fucking thing again. Bro. Oh! I must showcase to you caution because these DLCs suffer from numerous problems. If you're seeking anything beyond intense gameplay and visceral experiences, you may be very disappointed. I said this in my house review, but it is more Dead Island 2. Honestly, the best way to put it. If you go into these DLCs knowing you're going to get a few extra hours of gameplay with you and your buddies, you will be satisfied. I was quite content in that regard. However, I felt slightly misled in certain aspects because of what was presented to me with this expansion pass. I thought I was going to get one thing and ended up getting something completely different. This isn't me saying it's false advertisement or anything like that. I'm not calling for a boycott or anything because that's kind of cringe. But let me explain the facts and then you can determine what you like. On the official store listing of Dead Island 2's expansion pass, it says, experience 2 major story expansions along with brand new missions, weapons, skill cards, zombies, and areas of Hell Lay to explore. The issue that I have is with the 2 major story expansion sections. I don't know who was on crack when they wrote this, but these DLCs are like 2 to 3 hours at most. That is nothing major. In that small time frame, it does nothing to further along the main story introduced in Dead Island 2. Instead, it focuses in on these weird side quests and activities that don't really pertain to anything exciting on the story front. It kind of just makes the story way more convoluted than I originally anticipated. It is not done properly at all here. Additionally, in one of the official screenshots of Sola, we see Tisha, a main character whose story was left on a major cliffhanger ending in the base game. Players going into Sola were somewhat expecting that she would be involved. I don't know, why would they think that? It's not like she's in official screenshots posted by the developers on Twitter, or X, as the cool kids like to say. Regardless, the DLC comes out, lo and behold, she's nowhere to be found. Why is she here, damn Buster? Ugh!
Get the out of my sight before I demolish you.
I understand that story is not the main reason you play these games, but don't present to me that these are going to be 2 major story expansions when it does nothing to contribute to the narrative established in the base game. I already said that the gore and gameplay, they're exceptional, but because of how little it offers in other areas, it really makes me question if this is even enough. Like, yes, we do get some new skill cards and awesome weapons to play around with. The Ripper and Saw Launcher are easily some of the most entertaining weapons I have used in any zombie game, but is it? enough. No, I don't think so. I believe this is an issue that extends beyond just these DLCs and encompasses the zombie genre as a whole. Right now, it feels like within the genre, we're just at a standstill. There's a pressing need for innovation in certain areas to both attract a broader audience and provide existing fans with fresh gameplay experiences that they haven't encountered before. It feels like Dambuster is kind of prioritizing like what's coming next. Honestly, it just feels like Dambuster is prioritizing what comes after Dead Island 2. Maybe it's a potential Dead Island 3, which honestly, that's totally understandable. I get where they're coming from if they're doing that. Honestly, it's just disheartening because these DLCs just feel like an afterthought, especially since they don't really deliver on promises or expectations. There's a pretty big disconnect between what was promised and what was delivered, which led to some disappointment and slight frustration for me. I actually think that Ryan put it in the best way for me.
We did this to try to figure out what we are, and we got jack shit.
Yeah, that is the best way to
Everything
describe
I
this
am
DLC.
was.
And you're probably wondering, why is this guy making it such a big deal? I do want to mention that there is a lot riding on these DLCs simply because post-launch support for this title has been quite lacking. The game just got its 5th ever update that mainly included quality of life updates. No real content has been added into the game since launch, aside from little events and Amazon Prime content drops. While Dambuster did make an announcement that more content is on the way, there hasn't been anything major like a new game plus, which the community has been begging for months and months, and they're just getting ignored. Literally every time the Dead Island Twitter posts anything, the community is just begging for New Game Plus. It's honestly a massive missed opportunity for Dambuster to not add this. New Game Plus is easily one of the best ways to get players to replay your game. Some people want to use the same Slayer, keep their gear, keep their loot, and have a second challenge available to them. But for some reason, the developers are so reluctant to add in something like this, and it's been over a year now at this point. I will say that they added in a skill card to make the game harder, but an official New Game Plus is just not here, and the community is left blue-balled. Additionally, remember that neighborhood watch game mode that we covered on this channel like 6 months ago that was supposed to be like a tower defense game mode where you defend a house, something similar to Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare Horde mode? That has been like silently canned and there's no real pipeline for its release. Granted, it was leaked, but it seems like development plans are moving away from this. I'd be vastly surprised if it does come out. No real content has been added in aside from those DLCs, which is why it's incredibly important to discuss what these DLCs actually gave us. Now, I have already talked about House on this channel, but I do want to go and talk about Sola a little bit. While a majority of this video will be criticisms of this DLCs, there are plenty of aspects that I thoroughly enjoyed. Number 1, the cutscenes. The cutscenes introduced in this DLC marked a significant departure from the style seen in the base game. Unlike the typical first-person perspective, these cutscenes employed a dynamic camera that captured characters' emotions from various angles, allowing for a more thorough expression of their feelings. This was a nice shift in the right direction. It's a more cinematic approach to add in more depth and immersion to the storytelling, which I do vastly appreciate. So, kudos to them for this. Number 2, location and attention to detail. Now, Dead Island 2, it never fails to make every area and location not only visually pleasing, but incredibly satisfying when it comes to the attention to detail front. Each area, from houses to stages to tents, exudes its own distinct identity, showcasing the developer's dedication to crafting visually captivating environments. Despite the somewhat abrupt introduction to these locations, the setting efficiently conveys its intended atmosphere and ambience, creating a welcoming and immersive experience for the players. Number 3, the weapons. The Ripper and Saw Blade Launcher.
Hey, this what I like right here. This what I like right here.
They added an extra layer of brutality and gore to the already intense gameplay experience. It amplifies the fun and excitement of battling through those hordes of zombies in the game. Number 4, the set pieces. Dead Island 2 excels in this area. It creates thrilling set pieces that just pave the way for dynamic and engaging gameplay moments. The set pieces not only create tense and extremely gory situations, but it provides players with something so memorable here, further enhanced by the introduction of the new tools and weapons we discussed previously. Now, Those set pieces are most of the time a blast. But man, remember when I said it could be very frustrating at times? The final boss, spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. The final boss is easily the most tedious, poorly designed enemy I think I have ever experienced in gaming. I have fought bosses in Elden Ring and every single Souls game ever created that are less tedious and frustrating. This dude, fuck this dude. I'd rather get my chopped away with a meat mallet than replay this final boss. What's worse is that there's a side quest in this game too, that it's like 3 of these final bosses shoved into the smallest arena possible, and it's incredibly irking. Fuck! God damn it, bro! Oh my god! Who designed this mission? Dog shit mission. Absolute trash. Absolute horse shit. Dog shit class. Instead of doing something fun with gameplay mechanics to take down these powerful enemies, it just results to the developers juicing up the boss's health with an absurd amount. In other games, we would call these bullet sponges. I don't know what you call them here because my bullets do absolute jack shit in here. There is nothing strategic about this. You throw a ball at him to get his shields down, then you swing away at him like 1,000 times, and then you repeat it 4 more times. I beat Sola in like 2.5 hours. If it wasn't for me dying once in that boss fight, it would have been closer to the 2-hour mark. I did a half marathon recently in 2 hours and 15 minutes. That half marathon was longer than me beating this story. That's an interesting perspective. I am incredibly speechless about this DLC. I don't know what to say. Side note, I had many people talk to me stating they had no idea this DLC was out and also House was out. How could that happen? They were completely surprised when I talked about it on Twitter and also when I was live streaming it on release day. Literally like zero marketing was involved here, and I don't know what to say to that. So yeah, that's everything that I had to say about Sola Festival and I guess House to an extent. This video is mainly about Dead Island 2's final DLC updates and if they were up to expectations or not. So I want to ask you, did you find these DLCs incredibly satisfying? Which one did you like? Did you like House or did you like Sola more? I'd be curious to hear you down below in the comments. That said, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.